Hey guys, welcome to the Rollout. I'm Linsay Rousseau.
And I'm Genevieve Marie. Hello and welcome.
As you can see, we are not where we normally are, aka our, computer screens with Zoom, because we are at Combat Con 2021
In fabulous Las Vegas. Hello and welcome. We're so happy to have this special show for you guys today. With us, we have three amazing authors. And if you guys could go down the line and introduce yourselves and a little bit about your work, we would love to hear it.
Sure. All right, I'll start. I am Katie Salidas. I have about 30 books under my belt right now, most of them in the urban fantasy genre, so modern day setting, vampires, werewolves, witches, what have you. I like to play with all kinds of magical creatures. I'm also a publishing consultant with Rising Sign Books, and I do my own YouTube show, Spilling Ink, every Saturday on YouTube.
Oh, so yeah, subscribe to that. Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Hi, I'm Jenna Elizabeth Johnson. I am a fantasy author as well. I have 3 series out right now: The Legend of Ossian, the Otherworld trilogy, and plus series additional books, as well as the Dragons of Firian, and that is more of a dragon shifter romance novella series that I'm working on. Multiple books in those. I'm also a HEMA fighter, a German longsword style with a Blackfriars School of Fence in San Luis Obispo, California. And my other life passion is I am a chicken mama. Yes.
Oh.
So, yes, I'm hoping to become famous for that. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
And I'm Terry L. Smith, also known as T.L. Smith prior to this, but another T.L. Smith has flooded the market with romance.
Boo.
And I keep getting all of her stuff to my website. They go, review for this book, go to this website. It's my website. They keep putting in there. Anyhow, I write sci-fi and sci-fi mythology fusion. Half my books are written from the female perspective, and the other half are from a male perspective, but with strong elements of romance.
All right.
Except for the last one,
nice.
is strictly military sci-fi.
Oh, okay. Very cool. So as we can see, we have some very experienced authors in the fantasy sci-fi realm, and obviously who are very experienced writing very well fleshed out female protagonists, I would like to say.
Yes, so the theme of our show today, we are going to play a game. And the game is called Wonder Woman What If?
Yes.
And we are going to create a Wonder Woman 3 script with our panel of female writers. And Linsay and I are going to provide them with prompts as far as picking characters, settings.
So if you know nothing about it, it's totally fine. The reason we're doing this is because Genevieve and I were less than impressed with Wonder Woman 1984, to say the least. Like we said, we keep promising on the show that we're going to do a review of Wonder Woman 1984, but we just can't force ourselves to watch the movie one more time. So, yes.
It'll be an exercise in torture.
Yes.
But, So the name of the game is Wonder Woman What If? And we are going to construct a pseudo script, a small script of what a Wonder Woman 3 movie would look like. And we're just going to have fun, just going to bounce around ideas. So are we ready to get started?
Yes.
So the name of the game obviously is creating a badass protagonist who, we'll see where it takes it, but let's see what happens when, women write the scripts. Even though Wonder Woman 1984 was apparently written by a woman, but we question that. Anyways. All right.
Let's kick it off. All right. So first we're going to start with the setting, and then we're going to move on to characters, so hero, supporting characters, and villains. And then we are going to choose a conflict that is going to happen based on who we chose for the villains and where we chose for the where and when setting. And then we'll move into writing the script, going Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. So your basic hero narrative. And we will be guiding you guys through this every step of the way. So settings, Linsay and I made up a few prompts of where and when this could possibly take place. You have 3 choices. So talk amongst each other once you hear all 3 of the choices and choose wisely.
Could be very different.
All right, do you want to kick off first?
Okay, so option number 1 is the Amazonian homeworld of Themyscira, circa 431 BC, which is about the time of the Peloponnesian War and Spartans, 300 Spartans. So that's option 1. Option 2 is Berlin, 1962, during the Cold War and all the upheaval over the Berlin Wall. And then option 3 is Nassau, 1706, during the Republic of Pirates.
I'm liking 2 and 3 most.
Yeah, I wouldn't do 1.
I feel like we need our own like music to be playing right now.
You guys can sing for us.
You want to go the first one, then 400 BC?
So, as you can see, we tried to give them various options
Amazonians.
in which to construct the story.
Yes.
But all centered around conflict, because they all center around a war of some sort.
Yes.
War makes great conflict.
It absolutely does, Lindsay. It's actually great story fodder.
It is, because it's like if you are having a hard time coming up with an antagonist or the conflict, like that's a built-in conflict.
Right.
I'm liking Berlin Wall.
My personal favorite is Pirates.
I mean, because who doesn't like pirates?
Just
pirates.
I mean, I just think it's weird enough
And
that
you could go anywhere.
you
with it,
could
you
make
know.
a great Wonder Woman movie.
Wonder Woman.
Think of the enemies.
Wonder Woman. So maybe like a Wonder Woman Pirates of the Caribbean mashup. I don't think that's possible because it's Disney and DC, Disney and Warner Brothers, but still.
Right. I was thinking maybe like Lost Atlantis in the Caribbean.
Okay.
I could even do like a MacGuffin type thing.
Uh-huh.
And there's treasure,
Is it?
you know?
Where do we find it?
And then, I mean, there's plenty of stuff to do in
Are we
Athens.
agreed then?
Are we okay with
Oh, do we have a choice?
I think we do. Okay, we're gonna go with the Berlin Wall.
Ooh, okay. Berlin
Berlin
Wall
Wall.
during the Cold War. So 1962 Berlin. Excellent.
Also, just a fun fact for those who don't know, 1962 is the year of the Bay of Pigs and of the Cuban Missile Crisis. So there's
Lots-
a lot to work
lot to
with.
work with.
There's a ton to work with. We've got spies, we've got all sorts of crazy stuff happening in the government. Let's do it. All right,
Political
the
ideology.
characters.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've got our heroes. So let's, do we want to start with villains?
Let's start with possible villains. We know that our hero is obviously going to be Wonder Woman herself, but we are also going to be choosing supporting character roles as well as the villain.
If
So-
you need a piece of paper and a pen, let me know. I can pass it down. Because what do you get? 1, 2,
All right.
3, 4, 5 options for villains here. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You got this.
So our villain choices, we have Circe. She's a powerful sorceress who can transform men into animals, and she can also raise the dead and teleport. So transform men into animals, raise the dead,
So many thoughts about that. I feel like if I had that power, I would grossly abuse it.
and
But that's just me.
teleport.
But would she really be a villain during that time period?
That's a
though?
good question. Well, like I said, we created these villains for all the time periods.
Anti-villain is a very popular theme.
It's
It
true.
is a very
So-
popular
The
theme.
villain's really not a villain.
Yes.
True.
And this might be a little cheating by me, but there's Circe, but there's also Medusa, who was risen from the dead by Circe, who can turn people into stone.
But she was wronged. She was
Well,
and
wronged.
that's the thing we
and
can
that could be-
explore. Like, is a
Uh-huh.
villain really a villain, or is it an
And that
anti-hero?
could be a connection to the wall itself.
Also,
Ooh.
out
Ooh.
of these
Ooh.
5,
Ooh.
you can choose 2 if you'd like.
Yes.
One is required, 2 if you like. So you can have the villain and the bruiser character.
There
So
we
the
go.
big bad
And then
and then the sub-villain.
Yeah.
If
got
you
it.
would like. Then we have Queen Clea. She's queen from Atlantis, and she feels very spited by the Themyscians.
yes.
Yes, and she has the power of, she is immortal, and she has goddess-like powers where she can manipulate space and time.
I like that option. Okay.
Then we have something that's a little bit more themed to Berlin, and he is Baron Blitzkrieg, a Nazi mutant. And he can fly.
Okay.
He is very strong. He is almost like Superman. So
But an evil
imagine,
Nazi.
but he is an evil Nazi,
That's terrifying.
a soldier
That is
that has been mutated by the Nazis, and so
And there's someone
somehow
who's wronged, probably.
he made it out of World War II.
I like that too, yeah.
Yeah.
He made it out of World War II, and now maybe he is working in an underground subgroup, or who knows? Who knows what he's doing? That's up to you. And then the last character we have to choose from is Dark Angel, another sorceress with the power to possess other people.
All right, so we have Circe, Queen Clea, Baron Blitzkrieg, Medusa, and Dark Angel. If you need us to repeat what they do, let us know.
I think that I like
so.
Circe, I like Medusa, and I
So
like
we've got-
the Nazi.
I like the
Those are the
Nazi
three that
and
I like.
I like the
See,
Nazi
I've got
and
a
I
soft
like the
spot
Dark
for
Angel.
Medusa because she was just
Well,
completely
this-
wrong, but I
I
So I
don't like
love
him
when
to
they
use the
like know
villain.
what
She's
they're
always
talking
treated as a
about.
villain.
So, you know.
I have
Okay.
So the Berlin Wall is on concrete, but Medusa turns people to stone with her look, so there could be that connection of somehow.
I'm
the
hearing
walls
excellent
created-
whispers.
I am liking where this is.
Out
Also,
of,
it's very
like,
creative because it's
you know,
not the
she's so
obvious,
excited
you know,
to
like.
be but
And you know, I love how the
maybe
first
working
question
and
they
then
said was,
working
"Well,
on
she
Nazi
was
too, so
wrong."
I like the Nazi.
So it's
I
like,
like him.
this
and
goes
I like
to the fact that, you know,
redemption arc for him.
maybe villains
No.
aren't always villains.
Turn
feels like a
them
little bit-
into
We can
stuff
add
like
in
rock
nuances
and
to the
Maybe
villains.
Wonder Woman's the
That's a
villain.
possibility.
roll.
I
So
like that.
Medusa and
Maybe
and the
we
Nazi.
can turn
Yeah.
some other
Just
people
don't
over
put
to
them all
her
back.
side.
That's
Who
what I was
knows?
thinking.
Yes,
when they
where
first
she's
mentioned
assembling
Medusa,
her
the
own,
criminal.
Okay.
But I
Justice
tell you, because,
League,
like,
so to
I
speak.
mean, how many
But with,
Nazi soldiers do you really think would truly believe that
I
they
will
were just
withhold my
brainwashed
comments
and
on the Justice League.
There was
right
only
at everything? And
one
just- you
male
don't have to
villain
go
that
that
I
way.
actually
Just put it out
listed.
there.
Yes,
I
all the
think
rest were
evil
women.
people
Which is
are-
again, and
are
we've talked
not
about this on the
always
show before,
given-
that
are not
you know, when
always
we're talking about
given
wanting
enough.
more female representation,
I
we're
think
not
they
just
do evil
talking
things for
about
themselves.
heroes.
the heroes. Like,
I don't
we want to
think
see
there
the
should be a
badass
reference to the Nazis.
evil people too, like
So we can have her.
Hela.
Oh,
Hela
she
from
deserves
Thor.
it.
I mean, I still like.
No, because
she was
she's
a
she's
fantastic
painted
villain.
as a
Yeah.
villain, even though
No,
if you look
Hela
at her
was
story,
great.
She was harmed.
Oh yeah, no.
And she
Because we
was-
definitely need to
She
see
didn't
more
also relate to
of female
turn
characters
on
on
the Nazis.
both
But what I'm
sides
saying is,
Ah, see, I
exactly,
like
of the
that. I
spectrum.
like that.
really quick.
that
Exactly.
aren't. I think
Yes.
what Linsay and I
No,
want
I
is
totally
less
follow Medusa, like, being, like,
less
kinda like
women
the whole,
occupying
this-
only
the Maleficent part
supporting
where
roles,
she's
yes,
not really
and
bad
more
guy.
main
Yeah,
character
exactly.
roles.
Exactly.
Victim of circumstance, but not truly evil.
Because I mean, I sent her an
Medusa's
article
a
this
self.
morning. So the Gina Davis Institute has said that
Yeah.
women
Okay,
are
yeah,
about
okay,
50-50
okay,
with men now
okay.
representation.
Okay, I like
But
that.
if you look
Yeah,
at the
really
USC
quick, but
statistics,
my idea was
that does
he-
not
he
translate
was
to
manipulated
the
and
amount they are speaking on
turned
camera,
into
Right.
that by
the number of
Right,
lead
we don't
roles
have to
they
go
have,
Oh,
and the
there's no
number
release
of
for
roles
him.
in which
Okay,
they are
yeah, no,
merely
there's
there
no
supporting
redemption.
That's okay,
Death is
the
released.
male
Like,
leads
if you
or
watch-
serving as
you watch
plot
Stranger
devices.
Things-
So I know people are like,
No.
yay, it's 50-50. And it's
It's
like,
like
is
Billy
it
and
really
Stranger
though?
Things.
This
There
woman
were
has
plenty
one
of
line.
bad guys and
Right.
they
I
were
would like to
willing
point out in
Yes.
this case,
Well,
the
like, that guy
boys,
who
I
died
love the
is
show,
finally making the right choice.
but
The one woman
okay.
is
the
mute.
one
Okay
woman
with
is
Medusa
mute,
and
Yeah,
which
yeah, okay.
you don't
Alright.
quite figure
Alright.
that out
We got it. You're a spokesperson.
until
I am a
season 2,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it's a little.
All
All right, what do we
We're
got?
gonna go with Medusa
Medusa.
and evil mutant Nazi.
Ooh, and
Awesome.
Baron Blitzkrieg. Okay.
He's the
Awesome.
he's the baddie and she's the sub.
Okay.
Okay, so he's the baddie, she's the sub. Love it.
Fantastic. So now we can move on to possible supporting characters. So this is the character that is going to tag along or be or help out Wonder Woman. And so the movie is actually going to start in Themyscira, and then we're going to take it out and then move into Berlin. So the possible supporting character choices is Antiope?
Antiope.
Antiope.
Played by the amazing Robin Wright.
Yes.
She was the best part of the Wonder Woman movies, just so you know.
And she is she's her aunt, right?
She's her aunt.
Her aunt, and also the woman who trained her to be
She's
a
the
warrior.
head of the Amazonian military. Yeah.
Yes. So she's a general, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
General
She's
Antiope.
a general. And then there's
Hippolyta.
who is Diana's mother and the queen of the Amazonians, also a great warrior herself. And then Asteria, who showed up in Wonder Woman 1984 as Linda Carter.
Yes.
Linda Carter had a cameo as her, and she is the warrior that allowed the Amazonians to escape to Themyscira. She stayed behind to fight off the legions that were after the Amazonians.
Yep.
And she has since that time been lost until maybe now.
That was a post-credit scene.
Yeah,
So there
it
you
was
go.
a post-credit scene.
one of
Yes.
those.
One of those.
So we have Antio, Hippolyta, and Hysteria.
My vote goes right to Hysteria. I'll
Hysteria.
tell you
Boom.
why. Mentors
know
don't
that.
take the journey. So mom, general, those are
Mentors
mentors.
don't take the journey, ladies and gentlemen.
They
That is a
usually,
takeaway from
stay
this.
behind
I didn't
or
know that, but it
die.
makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
This is true.
Yep.
Either stay behind or die.
Yep.
Love it. Stay behind or die. Okay. So who are we going with? Assyria?
Yep.
All right. There we
Awesome.
go.
About the characters, though, but
Okay. So
Yeah,
now
good
we
point.
have. What is the main conflict of the story?
Yes. All right. Now that I think we have enough information
Yeah.
with
that is.
the where, the when, the who. So now we need the why.
Yes.
What is happening in Berlin at this time? What is the main conflict? The main conflict can be anything from a MacGuffin, a treasure to find. Is this a story of revenge? Is there a character or a people to be saved? Or maybe a curse to break? Anything,
Or something else you
or
might have
something
it.
else.
So we have no
absolutely
prompts for this
entirely.
one. This
Well,
one
we
is
kind
up
of
to
already-
you
yeah,
all.
kind of
Yeah,
already
we kind
decided.
of-
That's what I'm hearing. You guys have already figured
like
this
the
out.
Berlin Wall, obviously we have one side wanting it down, one side wanting to keep it up. And,
Yep.
and I thought it was interesting that we could use that almost as an analogy for today times of how some groups are trying to push more inclusivity, and that's becoming a big thing in this country, thank goodness. And others are just trying to push back against it. So it could almost be sort of a parallel to that.
Old
So
versus
yeah,
new.
old versus new. So we've got
versus-
those who
yeah.
want to keep it up, those who want to break it down. And then do we want to give away what the villain's up to? Are we supposed to do that? Or
We're
just-
gonna get
is
to
that
our
just the-
we're gonna
that's
do
just
our
the
act
plot?
breakdown just now. We just
Okay,
wanted to
yeah.
kind of loosely
it.
establish
Unless-
what this conflict is. but-
Unless the villain has like a doomsday machine or some type of MacGuffin that they have gotten a hold of that is going to cause their
I think
plot to be.
We talked
just
about
stick to it,
we
yeah.
talked about Medusa being the
Being-
filler of the
yeah.
wall.
Yeah, yeah.
So the
Okay.
wall is an actual physical representation
Yeah.
of that oppression.
Ooh, I
Right,
love
Yeah,
that.
the wall itself, yeah, the wall is
Yeah.
almost like the metaphor, and then, but we haven't gotten into the reasons of why this group wants it up, this group wants it down. But that's like the main conflict.
That's gonna
So
be
awesome.
the
okay,
wall is there.
Perfect.
Good wants it down so that people can live together in peace. Evil wants it up because they want to have control over
Got it.
society.
All
that's
right,
basically
love
the
it.
main conflict. Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, well then
Fantastic.
let's dive into that. So let's start with Act 1. So let's just dive into this world. What is our opening shot? Like how are we drawing the audience into this world in which we are creating? And so we're going to go from our opening shot to whatever the inciting incident is that dives us into this conflict, and then our hero sets off on their journey. And where does that take her? So let's dive into this.
Typical hero's journey. You start with showing what life is like
Yeah.
in their normal
normal
existence.
Thinking like
No.
training scene. Maybe,
Training
like,
scene.
Well, actually,
but
when
that's just an idea.
I'm ex-military.
Me too.
But after leaving the service, I worked for an agency, and this actually is in the paper, so I'm not releasing any names or anything, but it was in the paper. I can talk about it. A family that had to escape from the East Berlin.
Wow.
And they had gone and their journey of trying to get the entire family to safety. And it wasn't like, oh, we just snuck up to the wall and waited for an opening. They had to travel to an area where it was very rural. And then they had to try to run for the fence. And they were being shot at in the process. And this is with children in their arms.
That would be a good opening.
And running that experience of you are willing to risk your life, and we have this down on our border all the time. You are willing to risk your life and the lives of your
to
children
get to something
to
better.
get to some place that's safer, and you have more opportunities in life, and your children aren't going to die
Right.
of starvations and illnesses and other things that are existing
Plaguing
or
your
growing
country,
behind the
gang,
wall.
or gang warfare,
That would be-
drug wars.
That's
or
an
whatever.
inciting incident though, because
That would be
how does your main character know this is happening if they're at home? They have to be able to leave their home to see this injustice
an
happen
idea.
Okay.
before
Okay.
they can be triggered into action.
I'm like, when you start talking about, I'm thinking, and it's so not relative, but Jurassic Park, how Jurassic Park starts completely away from the park.
Yep.
They're digging, they find the amber, what's this about? What's going on? And then it leads us into it. So that would be good. Like this scene of this family running. Why are they running? We don't know. And then maybe it pans to somehow, I don't know if media would be available to Wonder Woman in her area, but
Not on her island.
Yeah,
No,
the
no,
island is
but-
completely
You know what?
cut off.
if we are doing a third movie,
She's
she's
already
off the island.
Or
so
someone
Yes,
who's
she's already,
forget.
and
So
she
she's
she already has, because she
She'll be
already
living
she lived through World War One. She
Yeah.
lived through because she's
Right.
essentially immortal. So
Yeah. Okay.
she'll either be living at this time in England or in America.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, for some reason, I'm picturing the famous clip of it's Reagan, right?
Reagan.
Yes.
Yeah, saying tear down this wall, and then the famous image where the first part of the wall gets removed, and then maybe with CGI that we have nowadays, as it's happening, our Blitzkrieg, Baron Blitzkrieg comes in,
Yeah.
on some sort of however he comes in superhero villain style, and like makes that pause in some sort of violent scene as it is, and like ends that.
So
For
the wall's
progress.
broken
Oh,
down,
it's
but
broken
now
down,
it's
but
being
now it's
filled
being
back
filled
up.
back in.
up. That is
So start
interesting.
out with the mystery scene, like where are these people? Who are these people? What are they running for? Why are they
Why are they
running? Where are they
being
running
shot
from? And then leave the audience in suspense, like, okay, that's interesting. Where's this going to go? And then all of a sudden they see the Berlin Wall, like, oh, maybe they're trying to escape, and then somehow have Wonder Woman see that somehow or get news of
Right.
that.
Well,
But I thought
if
since
it
that's
was-
that's such a well-known image, that's like,
Yeah, and if
Oh,
it was a
brilliant,
news
yeah.
report, then
Yep.
you've got
Yeah.
something
news
to
report,
report.
Yep.
oh, there's the villain.
Yep.
Oh my goodness gracious! And then we can easily do that nowadays in CGI. Just go in and take that famous, iconic
Right.
speech and scene, and have like the villain fly in. And
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
You could also establish it, and this is just a suggestion. The family could be somewhere entirely different, not in the same area as the tear down the wall moment. You could always have a save the cat moment where it looks like the family's not going to make it, and Wonder Woman shows up.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was
Good
thinking.
too, yeah.
As they're, about to be.
Right.
Bullets are coming
bullet-
in.
I'm the target, through the scope of the
Oh, yeah.
rifle, he's got mom and the baby in a scope, and then Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Yeah,
Not
that would
today,
be cool.
buddy.
And
Yes.
then, and then you're like, oh, it's Wonder Woman, and then just before we can really find out what happens.
Yeah.
right?
I love
Right.
That
that.
would be a cool. That would be a cool transition.
I love that.
Not
Okay.
today, buddy.
Awesome.
So then, so that takes care of most of Act One, and obviously now she's immersed in this. She's seeing the damage that is being caused by this Cold War,
She knows
and
she has to do something.
she now has realized there is this mutant type individual who is working with the people to keep the conflict going.
So how in Act One, I think we can close Act One with her meeting Asteria for the first time. So Asteria, what is she doing? How is she the reason? Is she who warns Wonder Woman about the new people? Is she fighting in a resistance? Is she fighting on her own? Like, how is Wonder Woman going to meet Asteria?
Well, if she was historically the one who helped Wonder Woman's people get there, then that's something that she's been doing all along.
She has been helping
She
people
is part of like an
flee.
underground
Yes.
railroad from
Yeah,
the
So
underground
she's
railroad,
naturally
yeah.
a resistance
Maybe
leader.
it wasn't Wonder Woman who showed up that saved the family, but Hysteria.
Oh,
Could
okay,
be.
could be.
We don't know.
Because she's been lurking
And then
around
maybe
the-
that
the
ends up in a
borders.
news segment or something,
Yeah.
and Diana's like,
That's not me.
and then maybe there's like a blurry
Yeah.
picture,
That
and
draws
she's
them in.
like,
Yeah. That
Okay.
draws them
She
in.
has to go
Okay.
figure out what's going on.
So you still
and
have
then
your
learns,
opening
yeah.
image,
Have
which
Yeah.
is
Right.
normal life,
Normal
seeing
life.
the
Yes.
stuff that's
Yeah.
going to draw them in, and
So-
then there's the mystery of who was it because
Yeah.
it wasn't
Right.
her.
Yeah.
So Wonder Woman is basically living a normal life in, shall we say, New York?
I would put her in London.
Yeah, put her in
She's-
London. She doesn't have to
She's
travel as
dealing
far.
with there are little spy espionage things going on there, like you said, the pigs, all
Yeah.
this other stuff
Right.
that's going on. Doing a little background preventative measures there, and goes. You got a bigger picture going down, starting to take develop
Right.
over here.
All of a sudden, she sees our villains attacking on the news, and another Amazonian who she does not know or recognize shows up in the news footage.
It's like,
And she
like one of
thinks-
those little blip stories.
And then
yeah.
then this makes it very personal to Diana, a very personal link. Who is this woman? Who is this
One
Amazonian?
of her sisters.
And then maybe the news outlets are circulating that Wonder Woman is back,
Yeah.
possibly.
Because she's been kind of underground for
yes.
the past few decades.
And she wants to stay in hiding and be in hiding, so maybe she goes to Berlin to kind of check it out, as well as, you know, kind of have a personal arc with Hysteria. Awesome. All right. And so
Act 2.
Diana hops on an airplane.
Yes. Okay, so that takes us. Okay, so we've met Hysteria, we've met Diana, we've briefly teased and seen Baron Blitzkrieg. So how are we going to take us through Act 2? How are we going to take us through the meat of this? Are we using any montages? Is there a low point? Does something happen that, oh no, it's over for them? And then, you know, what is that turning point that gets us back on this, you know, this hero's journey?
When she decides to step in.
Well, Act 2 is all about the rising action.
Yeah,
so
right.
it's
So
multiple points of conflict that need to increase
Yes.
and need to test the hero to see whether or not they can make it towards the climax. And they can't always win.
No.
Yep.
There has to be setbacks in there. So it wouldn't be just one conflict. There would be
Yeah.
multiple levels
Yes.
of conflict that would need to
yeah.
happen.
Maybe she somehow discovers that Baron Blitzkrieg is trying to resurrect Nazi Germany in
Ooh,
secret.
okay. Yeah.
And that's part of like the connection with the wall, and maybe behind the wall, that's what he's trying to secretly do. And that's part of the reason he wants the wall to stay up, even though we have like
Can't
London
control the
here.
world.
Right, you can't control
Yeah.
the
And
yes.
have we
But I
been
try
linked?
to
And
link
I
the
assume we're
Medusa.
introduced to Medusa at this
Yeah.
part
Yes,
as well.
we need to-
Yes.
Link the Medusa and show Medusa doing what she does, which is filling in that wall with
And
people.
why is she doing it if she's truly not evil? Like maybe Baron
Because he's
Blitzkrieg has
forcing
some,
her.
but how? But what is the pressure point? What is his
What is his
What is
motivation?
her
What's
pressure point
motivation? Yeah.
that has what gives him control over her? It's Medusa.
Well,
The ability to
Maybe
turn
he can't turn to stone.
you twist her wound against her.
Yeah.
She was wounded, basically used as a sexual object, and then punished for that. So he can just continue twisting that
Twisting that, yeah.
men are going to
The
abuse you
more
and you
psychosis- yeah,
take
yeah.
your power
psychological.
back and get your
Yeah,
payback
he's
against
good
them. But
continuing
he's
manipulation.
pointing her at people who don't deserve it.
Yeah. That's good. Like salt in the wound
Yeah.
and manipulation to get her. Yeah. Like these people deserve it. You deserve your revenge.
Yeah.
This is how you
She's
get it.
mentally broken at this
Yes.
point. She doesn't know right from wrong at this point. And so she just kind of
Yeah,
goes
that will
along
work.
with it.
That work. And we can have we can jump back and forth between scenes of how that's going, how that's panning out, and
Yeah.
into scenes of Diana looking for this person who is impersonating her, and then maybe along the way discovering like maybe she'd never realized how bad it really was on the other side of the wall until
Right.
she meets up with Hysteria and they talk about it, and she brings her maybe there's like a secret
Goes
village
on the
that
other
she's
side.
taking
Yes, she
care
goes
of
on the other side.
on the other side, and it's like almost like I remember reading something or hearing about the children who ran off into the woods during Nazi Germany and survived on their own, the Jewish children, out in the wild, so they never got captured. So we could use that. I'm not 100% sure, like maybe we can research it.
Okay. Yeah.
But
yeah.
or even just use that idea, and that's what they are. They're out living in the wilderness where the Nazis aren't going to look for them, and plus it's not Nazi Germany, but where the Baron
they don't know
Blitzkrieg
that.
and his soldiers are looking for them, and they could be like super secret. They look like normal everyday like police force or something, but they have like a special symbol that they wear that's very similar but not quite.
Or they've been
So they
mutated
pass-
themselves
They've
because
been-
they did
yeah.
so many experiments on
They
children.
did.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
did.
they did.
So they as well.
They
This
could be
Krieg is a
mutated,
mutant.
awesome
He wants
children
those
that-
mutated Jewish children.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
But
Okay.
they have like almost, I don't want to say they have like Amazonian powers because then it's too close, but maybe they are special and unique in some way. And Baron Blitzkrieg is trying to eradicate them first because they have power over him somehow. And then Hysteria is trying to keep him safe.
Ooh. Okay.
I like that.
Okay.
I like that.
I am liking
And
that.
that's the family. That's why they were so intent on killing that family because they had that and they were going to get the
They
secret
had those
out.
powers.
The secret
Okay.
power
Yeah.
against
If
evil.
they get out of the area, then the secret will be revealed. Yeah.
The
This is
secret-
fascinating.
the secret of the fact that Baron Blitzkrieg is trying to resurrect Nazi Germany and the fact that they might have some sort of power to make things better.
Okay.
Nice.
I like it.
I love this.
Let's send this to Hollywood when we're done.
I know, right? Yeah. Oh, we're trademarking, copywriting,
yes.
all of this.
Yeah.
I'll be submitting our paperwork to the WGA here afterwards. Okay, so we've got multiple conflicts. We've got trying to
makes it more
resurrect Nazi
interesting.
Germany. We've got, Medusa being, essentially dealing with a lot of mental turmoil and continuing to be tortured emotionally and mentally. We've got Jewish children who escaped Nazi Germany
survived,
and survived and have been
Survived,
mutated and
in
are
this
a
world,
threat
yeah.
to Baron
And had their own
Blitzkrieg.
children.
Yes,
Yeah.
and Asteria's went to find them, and now Wonder Woman is going to find them, and she's realized how bad the war is, and now she's decided to step in. Okay, so yeah, where does that take us then? What is going to be, I guess, this final battle, this resolution? I mean, how is this all going to culminate?
Well, he's going to have to track. Yeah, but at the same time that they're tracking down the children, he is too. They're going to have to converge on the secret village of these mutant Jewish
Wherever they,
survivors
in the Black Forest.
in the Black Forest. They're going to have to converge there, and this is where they're going to have to do the breakdown, where Medusa has been broken.
Right.
There's going to be the battle, but at some point
Well, if he has Medusa turn on children, maybe
That's-
that is where she
that is
draws
going to
her
be the-
line.
Yeah.
that's somehow going to be the line
Yeah.
that she can't cross, and that's going to be where Wonder Woman is able to come and
Get through to her.
bring her
maybe.
back
Yeah.
and cure this curse that she has somehow.
And we also have to remember there will be adults and children, because this is what, 20
Yeah,
years
this
after.
is-
Yeah, 20 years, yeah.
So, and then maybe if we could somehow have this, I don't want to push like because the Amazonians is more women, the women's society's strength, but maybe somehow have this community maybe become more matriarchal.
Well,
Mm.
if you know a Jewish family,
This is true.
It's true.
Good point. Very much so. But have like but maybe even more stress in that I don't know, maybe the girls are born. I don't want to say girls are, better than boys at all in any
Right.
way, shape, or form. Or maybe just the
You could
children
always
have more power.
Blitzkrieg have taken all the boys at birth.
That's true.
If he
Ooh,
knew
that's
where
a good
it was,
twist.
so there really is
He was
only
capturing
women.
the boys, like the boys that would sneak off, because or any kids that would sneak off.
that's
but
how he
would only
knows
take
that
the
this
boys.
village exists.
Yeah,
or
the
something.
kids would kind of sneak off at a certain age, or just be kids being kids. It's like the opposite of the Grimm fairy tale. Stay out of the forest. Kids stay in the forest.
Yeah.
And,
The forest is where
sneaking
it's
out.
safe.
Yeah,
The towns
forest is
are-
up. Do not go out in
Yeah.
there.
Because
And-
they're remembering the ghettos, they're
Yeah,
remembering
yeah,
being,
they
literally
remember-
fenced in
Yes.
these
So,
cities.
The forest is safe, and the kids wander out too close to the edge. And Baron Blitzkrieg, he knows they're in there. That somehow they're protected in that forest. Somehow they can't get into that forest.
Maybe Asteria, with her power, maybe she's created some sort of like
That-
magical
yeah.
force
they
field. I
have
don't know if she
around
can do
the
that, but maybe
shield.
she can. Yeah, shield. Yeah.
that like where it's hidden, maybe things are blurred, and plus it's
It's just a
the Black
field.
Forest.
Well, and that's the power
Right.
they learned how to protect the mascara. Is
Yeah.
the Amazonians literally created an a cloak.
Or
Yeah.
they could play off the magic of the Black Forest. I mean, that is the hotbed of all the fairy tales, and there's a reason
Yeah.
for that. So there is an old magic in the Black Forest, and if you even go back as far as
Ooh.
And it
pagan,
just
if you think
literally
pagan,
scares
that's very
people out.
feminine.
Yes, it is.
Very
Absolutely.
feminine. Oh yeah, I don't know. So we could go back and just say maybe there's natural strength and magic in that forest as it is, and it's protecting children because it wants to protect the children because they're
And
the innocents.
maybe that's why they
Right.
were sent there to begin
Exactly.
with, because
Right.
she knew that was where they would be
They
safe.
would be safe.
But
And then-
anyone who
but
walks
kids,
beyond the
kids are
borders,
going to wander off.
Yeah,
and they're-
as kids do.
And if
Yeah.
they
You know,
get
like
too
a-
close to the edge, like maybe it's like almost like a glamour. Like I'm thinking like my other
M. Night
ones are like a
Shyamalan, where they had the
glamour.
village and don't
I
leave
love
the
that.
village.
Right.
that
Don't-
movie.
Yes.
Yeah, but like have the kids sometimes don't know they're either really young or they're testing boundaries as they do, and they just get too close and you can start to see them, and if they run in too far, they kind of disappear because of that glamour or magic. But if they stay visible enough, the new Nazi soldiers can see them and take
And
them.
take
and they
them.
only take the
Right.
boys.
They only take the
so they
boys.
kill the
take
girls
boys.
and only take the boys.
Or just they don't take the
Or
girls.
they just leave the girls.
The girls,
But
they
the
leave
girls
the
would then come back and tell what happened.
Oh yeah,
Right,
but no,
yeah,
I mean,
right,
but they
yeah,
already
yeah.
know. I mean, they already know that they're out there. They already know.
Don't go
Yeah.
too clear to the edge or you'll get caught.
Yeah.
They could, or maybe they.
Bad guys don't
Yeah.
just let people run
That's
away.
true.
Though.
That's
they
true.
Would,
They
they
would-
would kill
They
the
could
girls if they didn't need them.
maybe. Do we want to go that? I guess
We're making him a super villain.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
don't
we
draw
would
lines
kill-
at
I
children.
mean, let's be honest. Kylo Ren destroyed,
That's
a ton
true.
of kids,
Anakin
and
Skywalker.
Anakin decimated
Well, they can
younglings.
either kill the girls, or they could take all of them, and the boys become soldiers, and the girls get forced into these traditional ancient feminine roles that are just awful.
But
Yeah.
if they have the power that he's worried about being abused, he's just going to get rid of them if they're not.
Okay,
gonna
that's
be
fine. Yeah,
used.
I mean, we could go either way.
I know I sound mean. Just kill him. Just
No,
kill him.
no,
But that's
fine.
that. You
But
got to
then-
make your villain a real
Yeah, I
villain.
mean,
that's
and if
like
you are
in,
killing children, that's about as bad as it
Like
gets.
in,
Yeah.
is it Magical Creatures and Where to Find Them, the second one, when he kills that young boy, I was like, oh no, this is too much.
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
like,
very
oh,
Cruella
that
DeVille thing.
yeah,
where
That
it's
was
like,
very I was like, oh yeah, you're not okay. This is like a 2-year-old boy that you just like ended.
no.
Yeah. So that will definitely, if you really want people to not like this villain, that will definitely.
Yeah, and
will
he's
do it.
not getting a redemption arc.
Okay.
So
No,
Yeah, no,
he
he's
takes
just-
it out.
We're giving
Medusa.
Medusa the redemption
Yeah,
arc.
yeah, yeah.
He is a Nazi mutant, so he's going down.
Yeah.
If any Indiana Jones movie has taught us, it's that Nazis must die.
Nazis must die.
What if it was Medusa's responsibility to kill the girls because he's that awful that he can't even do
Oh,
himself?
turn them
He's
into
spineless.
stone?
No.
But no, she somehow hides them. No, she's not turning, and that's where
She's
you
hiding.
see her humanity.
Aha.
She's still redeemable because she's been protecting these
Hiding them.
girls.
She's been trying.
And it doesn't, and he can grab soldiers from. It doesn't have to just be only
But then
these
he
boys that are
finds-
soldiers. They could just be supplementing the army,
Right.
Right.
along
Yeah.
with all the other normal people. But the girls, but since they have the power and he wants to manipulate them, he doesn't want them to run back and tell everyone. That's why he's getting rid of the girls. But he's assuming Medusa's doing it, but somehow she's hiding them and protecting them, and then
At the
somehow Wonder
crisis
Woman.
moment, he finds out about the girls,
And they turn on him, and them and Medusa somehow, because some of these kids have grown up to a little older.
Yeah.
They're like the turn point, like they're like the key, the little whatever they do, they figure out a way to turn things around.
He thinks
It's
he's
like
going
a
to use the
surprise.
girls against Medusa to kill Wonder Woman and then her.
But if
army.
he doesn't know that
But
she's hiding them,
instead,
yeah.
well,
Because
that's
she's
why
supposed
he's
to
gonna
be
have
killing
find
them.
them.
She's
Right.
supposed to be turning them to stone and putting them into the wall, but instead she's found a place to hide them, and
Okay.
she mothers them in a way.
Yeah.
And then that's where like when Asteria and Wonder Woman come in, and they think she's the villain. They don't know if they
Right.
can trust her.
And then they find
these
out.
girls, and the girls maybe come and stand in front of her.
Ooh,
To protect
that's
her.
always a fun one.
Oh, that's
yeah.
sweet.
Yeah,
Like,
they come out
that could be really
and then
good.
they
Yeah.
realize, and they're
Yeah.
like, we have to take down
This
Baron
is- this is-
Blitzkrieg,
yeah.
and they all,
Yep,
yeah.
I like it.
And sometime during this, I'm assuming the kids are gonna realize that they have these powers. Maybe they had inklings before, wasn't really sure.
They-
Maybe
They
they
just
couldn't
thought that
control
couldn't
everybody
control
was
it,
that
but
way.
maybe
Yeah, they thought
through
everybody
this-
was that way.
Yeah,
Right,
they-
X-Men.
Yeah,
But when
very-
it's
Usually
detective,
the,
like
the point that most people, young children, they're growing up somehow different. They think originally that everybody's that way until
Yeah,
they get to
until they
school.
they've been
find
living in
out they're
isolation.
not.
Yep.
Well, they've been in the forest. They just think everybody outside the forest is the same, but they're mean.
And maybe their power manifests when that protection instinct comes in. Because
Yeah.
that could be a kid. I mean, if they're gonna stand in
That
front
could
of
be
her,
the trigger.
Yeah.
that could be the trigger. What keeps that, like, whatever, like maybe whatever is gonna give him the ultimate power that he's trying to get, or his secret being blown.
Yeah.
But whatever that is, they're protecting of Medusa kind of helps manifest that.
yeah.
Yeah. Or something along those
Okay.
lines. Yeah.
So we have our final epic battle. Medusa comes to the good side.
Yeah.
What is the aftermath of all this? What happens with Wonder Woman and Asteria and Medusa and the children and then Baron Blitzkrieg? Like, how do we end this?
Girl power. So Baron Blitzkrieg should be stoned by the end. Defeated by the one that he was trying to control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Medusa's been mothering to these children, then she becomes kind of the power figure of the society. And Asteria, again, back in her role as kind of Underground Railroad, helps to find them a place where they will be safe.
Yeah.
And we could even twist the Medusa legend, whereas anytime whoever she looked upon, if you looked in her eye, you would turn to stone. Maybe she can control that. Like, we just
Yeah.
never knew that. She can control
Right.
that, and she only uses it if she needs to, and she won't use it on him because victims, I find it very hard to face.
Oh, like
the
the
people.
Stockholm
Yeah,
syndrome.
Stockholm
Yeah.
syndrome.
Yeah.
And finally, those children standing up to her and seeing that he is gonna hurt those girls finally breaks that I guess cycle of
The cycle of
trauma. And she
abuse or-
finally is like, nope, and you're gonna, and maybe not even like turns his tone like super, like something even like so intense that like not just stone, but something like diamond.
Oh, I
super
kind of like
hard.
the idea of him
No, I
being
think-
turned to stone and then either Wonder Woman or
No,
Okay, that
they
would
got
just
one
smash
little
it.
arrow.
I know. I was like, or it ends up in
the big.
Yeah,
or,
yeah,
or he ends up in the wall, and then he's part of those famous videos of when they're tearing down the
yeah,
wall and it
yeah,
crashes
yeah.
down.
And
That's
you can see like
beautiful.
his face.
You can
in
see-
there.
yes,
That would be
like,
great.
that is
That
poetic.
would be a great ending.
That is
The
poetic.
wall is coming down and everything crumbles around except for him. And one of those little girls that got rescued walks up and
And like her
knocks
maybe
him
like
over.
a flash of power and
just
turns to dust.
crumbles into dust.
Yes.
Yeah, like
that
have the
too.
wall come down and that part like everything breaks around it because of like superstone because she made it extra hard, but the child's power goes to touch it and it turns to dust.
Turns to dust.
The
The
only
child,
problem I
the
have,
girl,
though,
the little girl
with
child
the
could
broken woman
crush
not
it.
using her power against the bad guy, I think that it's too easy.
It's too easy.
I think you need him to be smarter than that and to
Okay.
always
No,
have
you're right.
something to cover her face.
Maybe or
whenever
his
he's in her
face.
presence.
Or maybe
Or
he has
he's
a
immune.
mask or some sort of
Or
but in the
he's-
heat of
or
battle,
he
he
is-
doesn't have that.
or it gets to
It gets
somehow gets
ripped
knocked
off or
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Maybe he has some sort of visor.
Because
Yeah.
then
Maybe
you've got a
that's
legitimate
Wonder
reason.
Woman and what's her name?
Hysteria.
Asteria's job is they come up with a plan.
Mhm.
It's you and I have to mask off,
Yeah.
and then Medusa, we need you to
And they're
step up
trusting
to the
Medusa
plate.
not to do it to them.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Or maybe because they're immortals, maybe they have
Or
some sort
maybe
of
because
resistance. I don't-
Medusa has the trauma and she's like, I don't know if I can do it. They're like, we trust you to step up to the plate
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah.
Like when we need you.
Yeah, he has
Because
a-
that
he-
helps the redemption
Yeah.
arc. And
Yes.
showing the trust.
Exactly.
And then
who
it
wants her
gives
enemy.
everybody
So she-
something
yeah.
to do.
Right.
She still has full control of her abilities, whether or not to stone people, but he has a way to protect himself from her.
Right.
Right.
That's why it never happens to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never.
Very smart.
it.
And he
Alright.
can fly, so you need Wonder Woman to
Yeah,
can fly.
Black
Yeah.
Widow.
fly and somehow get him.
He's powerful enough. It takes both of them to hold him down
Yeah.
so that she could
Yeah.
turn to stone.
Yes,
Yep.
right.
Right.
Love that. Yeah.
That gives everybody their position to play in the final battle.
Teamwork.
Yes.
Perfect.
Woman power team.
Woman power team. All of this done without the help of a lowly pilot who, yes. Anyways,
You're not bitter at all.
we're not bitter at all. We're not bitter at all.
You don't need a big strong man to come help you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We've got.
I'm
Immortal.
reminded
So-
of that scene in Wreck-It Ralph where it's like all the Disney princesses are standing
Yes,
there and
I
like,
love that
did everybody think that your problems were solved because of a big strong man? Like, oh my
Yes,
god.
yes.
All right, so Baron Blitzkrieg is defeated. The children are safe. What happens with our three main heroes now? Where do
where are
they
they
go?
gonna
What happens?
So it's got to be, again, with the Illyria being the one to take them Underground Railroad style to
Find home.
a
safe.
home place.
With
and
Medusa.
and
Unless they
Medusa
want to
is
continue
the
living.
matriarch
She's
now
the
of
mother.
that society because
Yeah.
she has protected them from
Yeah.
day one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe they want to go back to living in the forest. Maybe they were
Right.
happy there and they just didn't want their children taken.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe they want to go back in the forest, live there, and maybe Medusa will join them because that's her family now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
A
then
real family
a
for
real
her.
family.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Mhm.
And now, besides the Miss Gria, we have a new place on the planet that is
Yeah, and that could be a
sort of
whole
magical.
Yeah, and maybe
and-
now they're actually training the children
Yeah.
how to properly use their powers, and we're going to see them in future movies,
Yeah.
a la the X-Men. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
we now
yeah.
have
Yeah.
Xavier's School for Mutants, but, you know.
And they're a lot more
DC
connected
stuff.
to the real world
Or-
because they can
yes.
travel without
can-
fear.
Yeah.
And what would be nice to maybe I always like the nature centric. Like their new job is to protect the vulnerable.
And not
Because they
everybody
were the
outside the
vulnerable.
forest
Yeah.
is evil.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
brand new purpose.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, and they decide to live there, but maybe they can drop the glamour, whatever it was that was hiding them, or
Right.
whatever, because they have to live in fear anymore.
They can travel in and out.
They can
and be
travel.
okay.
They can train other people maybe in there. Maybe they have special skills or ways of connecting with that power, and they can train others who almost like Jedi's, not quite like Jedi's, but
Right.
going
Like,
with
like the X-Men
Yeah.
connection. Very similar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very similar. Very
Yeah.
similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't have to fear the world as much as they did.
Right.
The wall's been taken down and everything. And then for Wonder Woman, maybe just like I'm gonna try to retire again.
She
back-
always
goes
comes
back to
out
her
when needed.
when
underground
when
Yeah.
needed,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Maybe,
But maybe she's
she
gonna move
and
somewhere.
Asteria just kind of come up with this little call signal or
Yeah.
whatever, sort of like a Justice League thing where it's like
Yeah.
when the world needs us again.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
right.
Should you need us?
Yeah, should you need
Should you need us?
That was good.
Don't show
That was
up as
perfect.
me.
All
Well,
right.
I had inspiration from last night at the ball.
Okay.
There we go. There we go.
Perfect conclusion.
Love it.
And we have a little bit of time to write an after credit scene.
Yeah, so what's that little 1 minute, 2 minute post credit scene that we've got that's gonna tease
what kind of
either the
mystery is
next
left
movie
hanging?
or the spin-off or whatever it is. Yeah, what's
What's
next?
left hanging? What happened to all the boys they took to be
Well,
soldiers?
Oh, you're right.
What
The
happened to all
boys
those
that
boys
didn't
they
get
took?
killed.
Yeah, now Baron Blitzkrieg is gone. Are they brainwashed? Are they child soldiers? Are they
There could be. I'm thinking maybe one of the girls, one of the older girls, like I don't know, they've been taken for like 20 years, right? It's been so maybe
Since-
maybe let's say like 10 to 15-year-old girl.
Mhm.
She had a twin brother who was
Yes.
taken, and maybe somehow there's a reconnection there.
She
And then
recognizes,
we find out
him.
we
and
find out
that-
the boys have different kinds of powers, maybe that were suppressed while
Yeah.
or they were using, or they thought the powers that they were using were bad powers because that's how they were manipulated by Baron Blitzkrieg. But then they turn out, and maybe the brother's a little bit traumatized from the
So
whole
like
thing.
a twin
Was forced-
connection,
twin
seeing
connection.
his eyes.
Seeing, we could do that, and then we could have him like maybe learning that the power he thought was always bad could really be used for good, and then that could like
especially
be, there could be a spin-off of
rejoined
these
with
kids.
with a sibling or
Mhm.
Right.
another female from
Yeah.
their tribe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something
That
like that.
combined, they have a special power.
Right, and of course we've seen that in again going back to X-Men.
Yep.
They're
Yeah.
the two twins when they have their powers together. It's an
We
even
just
more
say the
powerful.
sibling, the sibling, and
So we
then
have a whole community that can do that.
Mm.
Right.
Can bring.
So the next mystery is to find the missing boys.
Find the missing boys. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love that.
There you
The
go.
soldiers
That's the
that got
next
lost in the-
mission. Find the
the
missing
all
boys.
the older ones, the younger ones, because they just nobody knows what happens after Baron Blitzkrieg like is axed
Yeah.
or dusted, I guess we should say. He's dusted. Maybe they were somehow in a trance, like all the normal. Ooh, what if the boys have the ability to put people under a trance, and that's how we can control all the people on that side of the wall? Like all his soldiers they bring in there are like all set into this cumulative trance that the boys are kind of
So you
putting
can
out.
explain all the bad people being able to do bad things for no good reason.
Well, I mean, but
Yeah.
these were the ordinary citizens that were manipulated into
Yeah.
following this
Doing
belief
bad
system.
things.
Yeah.
Which I honestly believe is what happened with most Nazi soldiers.
Yeah.
Is they were
the
I don't-
truth
I don't
though is
think
it
they were
doesn't take
necessarily-
much to do that.
I know,
It doesn't. It
I know.
doesn't.
It doesn't.
Well, we
And
see.
it's
well,
simply-
we've
But we can
seen
make it
that in our
supernatural.
own life
Yeah, it's
this
good.
I
last-
like that angle.
Yeah, we can make it supernatural, and then that opens up the possibility of the children of the forest having, like the Black Forest children having
Yes.
these powers, and that could be a whole other universe
Right.
Yeah, that could be an opening into that universe.
I'm loving that.
Nice.
Awesome. Okay.
Fantastic.
Thank you. So there you go. There you have it.
good.
We have
Touche,
just given you
Robin.
Wonder Woman film. Wonder Woman 1967, Wonder Woman Berlin Wall, whatever you want to call it. Yes, these ladies are available for hiring. So should you need them on your next
Should you need us?
screenplay,
Should
they
you
are
need
more than
us?
happy to join your writers' room. I love this. So what we did here is we created super strong independent women who then came together. We also had a female villain who then has a redemption arc. The moral of the story is it's these women who, like you said, they don't need a guy to come rescue them. They don't need someone to pine after. They don't need to have my worst trope that I hate with female superheroes. It's like, I lost the love of my life, and now I must do my mission in his honor. I'm like, stop it.
Good for yourself.
So what are for you ladies, obviously you've created some amazing characters yourself in the books, but like what are two-part question. What are some of your favorite female characters, heroes, action stars, whatever, or even villains? And then what are ones that you're just like, oh my God, I can't believe this character was ever written? Either books or film.
It's not insulting.
Oh no.
Genevieve and I tend to be very blunt on our show with our opinions.
I blink out when I try to think of this.
I know, it's one of those
Yeah,
put you on
I
the spot
can.
questions and you're like, I
Yes.
have so
some
much
of them-
movie knowledge and I can't think of anything right now.
I know, right?
Worse. I know. I can't. I know. And even book knowledge.
I think that whole trope that you had of like, oh my God, my life is over because I've lost the love of my life. All right, and now I have to do his mission in life. No, you do it because that's your mission in life.
Yeah. I mean, if it was something you were both working towards,
Then that's
Yes,
fine. But
right.
if it's, you don't adopt one because it's somebody else's.
Right.
You
If
know,
you were both
everybody
working
has their
together,
own
yeah.
mission in life.
Right.
Or the
Um,
Cinderella theme of you can't get anywhere without marrying into
Yes.
the
Yeah.
right,
Right. Yes.
you know,
you need
yeah,
a man
exactly.
to make your life better.
you are not able to at all. Society will
Could
beat
be the
you
old
down.
lady with
Yeah.
cats now that he's dead.
I always can't stand the female characters who pretend to be dumber, weaker, clumsy, or
Yes.
whatever to get a male character's attention. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I
that
also-
always, that just bothered me.
That's-
Even in real life, that always bothered me.
Yeah.
Acting
Yeah.
dumb.
The
so-
glow up. The glow up really bothers me
Oh yeah.
personally, where like Miss Congeniality
Oh, yes.
is
yeah.
there is a lot about
There's
this.
so
Congeniality, My
She was
Fair
already a
Lady.
tough girl
Yeah.
to begin with.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Oh,
until she looked the part that
Yeah.
anyone gave her any credit.
Right.
Right. The glow up
Yeah.
like you have to look the part of the hero in
have
order
to
to
be
be the
pampered,
hero.
yeah.
Right.
That is
like
that
I couldn't
always-
take you down in my FBI uniform. You know, all the work I did as an FBI agent is negligent, but as soon as I put on that cocktail dress and that bathing
I can
suit,
take you down. Yeah, we're going down.
Yeah.
That's irritating.
well, I mean, that goes all the way back to Pygmalion, obviously.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot. Oh, what is
The-
it? The
yeah, like
Princess
the-
Diaries.
The
does the same
makeover,
thing.
the makeover.
Princess Diaries, the
book
makeover.
makeover.
Yeah.
even
Oh, all of the '90s rom-coms.
Oh, yeah.
Where the
Oh.
for the ugly girl who's actually
Well,
pretty
and
on the
not
inside,
even
but you
the
never saw
and then
that.
even the
She's
pretty
all
girl,
that.
but like
She's
you've
all that
got
was like that.
well, and you've got
Yeah.
the pretty
Yeah.
woman trope where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you have the hot sexual figure, but now we turn you into a lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. My
Yep.
Fair Lady.
My Fair Lady, yeah, which is
Yeah,
based on
which is
Pygmalion,
like
which is
Pygmalion,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Do you ladies have any favorite female protagonists or heroes or that you throughout, you know, either film, TV, or books or whatever? Who are your like, yes.
You're gonna hate me, but because Kate Daniels from it's Alona Andrews. I know. I love Alona Andrews. I'm always talking about, but Kate Daniels in the Alona Andrews. It's the magic series, like Magic Bites, Magic. There's breaks. There's like a bunch of them, but she is a kick-ass. Can I say that on there?
Yeah, oh
Okay.
yeah, we swear on here all the
She's a
time.
kick-ass female character. She's kind of a mercenary. We don't really know who she is. We find out she's a lot more powerful than what she is. It's like urban fantasy. It's a great series set in Atlanta, and the premise of the whole world is that there used to be a lot of magic in the world, and there was no magic, and it's like a pendulum.
Oh.
And they're in the middle where like the magic will be up, where the magical creatures have advantage, and technology doesn't work, and then the pendulum's back this way, and magic's down, but the technology
Yeah.
works. And so she's skilled in fighting. She gets beat up all the time. I mean, it's snarky hilarity, and you have a mix of male and female characters, all kinds of mythologies mixed in. But she is definitely gets blood on her, doesn't care. I mean, she's like
And that's something we love because really that was the other thing that really bothered
Yeah.
me about Wonder Woman. It was like, you don't have a mark on. I mean, okay, you're part God, but I was like, you don't have a mark on you. You look beautiful while you're fighting. Your hair never gets in your face while you're throwing a punch. You know, 'cause
You
we
have
just,
dirt on you.
Yeah, like because we just talked about Black Widow, and we're like, we
Right.
loved. She had practical
yeah, no.
footwear. Her hair
She's
was
always
pulled
out.
back.
Kate.
Yes.
Kate
She has to go
Daniels
take
is-
ibuprofen after she fights.
I would
And let's
compare.
talk about the vest with the pockets because
Yeah,
damn,
yes. Genevieve and I are big fans of cargo pants. You know, because we're like,
Well,
yes.
it's a thing. I told her, she was telling me about it earlier because I haven't seen it, and she was saying, I'm like, you know what? That's just a poke at modern day society because they will not make women's clothes with decent pockets. So she's like, that was specifically. I bet you anything that was specifically put in there just to be like,
Yes.
it was a little throwaway scene which
Yeah.
they did pay off at the end, and
right.
it was like
Kind
the
of love it.
pockets
Love
are
it.
so important.
It's so funny because I have a
in
friend.
society, we want pockets.
Yeah, a friend of mine actually.
Functional
Yeah, a
pockets.
friend of mine actually just started a company called Pockets Couture, where she takes people's clothes and she puts pockets in them because all we want is pockets.
Yes, functional
Yes.
pockets.
Yeah.
So who is your go-to?
My mind is going blank for names, but
Okay,
I have to
okay.
say the urban fantasy genre.
Okay.
Any of the books written in the last 5-10 years, it's specifically urban fantasy, focused on more strong female characters that are able to be capable on their own. They
Yes.
are able to fight with a team, yes, but able to handle their own business.
Yeah.
And they kind of eschew the other tropes that women have usually had to deal with.
Right.
You know, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be pretty, but they can and they do it. And they show you the trial and the error. They show you the falling down
Yes.
and learning and
Yes.
And the
scraping
breaking
knees and breaking
being in the
bones.
hospital and
And
having
then
to
getting back up and going, no, this is worth fighting
Yes.
for. And
And
that's why I love the genre.
And to tag on to the end of that, the nice thing too that I've noticed also is that the male characters are a lot more in line with, this is you. But they're not as disrespectful. The ones that are kind of
yeah, true
They're-
assistants, true
yeah,
side
Well,
assistants,
that's the thing I would love to see is it's
supportive.
like, yes, it's not a big deal, you know, because I'm an Army combat vet, and I was
Yeah.
like, I just want to get to the point where it's like, yeah, you got this badass woman, and nobody even blinks an eye about it. It's like the guys are like, yeah, that's her.
Well, I
Maggie,
know.
she's not special. She's not
Battlestar
different.
Galactica.
Well, they're-
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Battlestar Galactica.
Star-
Starbuck.
But then also,
Yes, Starbuck.
Demi
The
Moore
female
played
version of her.
the Navy SEAL.
Yes.
Going through the
Oh,
Navy
yeah,
SEAL
G.I.
training.
Jane.
And she has to shave her head to be one of the boys.
Yes.
You know, but I always get the question of how do I write a female character without it being a man with boobs?
Yeah.
And it's like every single woman, no matter how tough she's got to be to do her job, even if they have to keep it in secret, there's always some little part of themselves that they might keep hidden that is feminine. Find that little part.
Yeah. For me, it was purple toenails.
There you go.
I had purple toenails. I still have purple toenails. But
And when I
purple
was
toenail
in
polish
my-
all during my
I'd be-
time in the military.
I'd be wearing my combat boots and fatigues in the daytime.
Yep.
And at nighttime, I went out dancing with a professional group that would do shows and everything around the city.
I love that.
But the guys the guys I was in the service with, they wouldn't date me because they were afraid I was going to make them go dancing. Now, out about the civilian world, all these guys loved to dance with me because I was the sergeant who was dancing.
Yes. Well, so Terry, who is your female? Who's your yes?
Oh, that is a really, really, really tough one
Yeah.
for me. I tend to lean more towards the sciences.
Ooh, okay.
So,
Okay. Hey, that
versus
brains.
characters, because there are so many women out there. I mean, right now, can't pull her name out of my head, but it wasn't Einstein and everybody that invented the radioactivity to create the bombs. It was a woman, and she says, "I can't do this."
Yeah.
So she sent it to him.
Yeah.
And then they developed it, and there was Madame Curie and the X-rays.
Yes.
And, you have all these wonderful women throughout
Everything.
the entire history of mankind.
Who have been in the
figures.
shadows or
Have
had
been
their
in the
work
shadows.
taken. Yeah,
I
hidden
went to
figures.
see, I went to
Yes,
see that movie.
yes,
My friend and I,
NASA.
we went to see it. We had time to kill. And after at the end, I told him, I said, why did we never learn about these women?
Yeah.
I'm like, this baffled. How are we now just learning about these women?
History is
I think
always
we're
written
just
by the
worst.
winners, and it's
Well, and
told from
obviously,
their viewpoint.
Bletchley's Circle was another one. All the female code breakers
Mhm.
who, worked during World War II.
All the women. who
NASA.
worked with them, yeah.
NASA, all of that.
Everything. Well, and I was telling you yesterday, we were kind of talking about this and all that in movies, and I kind of was thinking back, like, what movies have I seen, the fantasy movies where they kind of get it right? And I even thought Willow.
Oh,
Classic.
yes.
Saoirse's actually
Saoirse.
in full armor.
She is.
And out there kicking
Yeah.
butt. I mean, I haven't seen it in a while, and even though she does fall for the hero, at least they're kind of equal.
Kind
because
of.
she's
I mean, they do
still-
have the scene where she takes the helmet off.
She
and
does
it's
like the hair. I
And
know.
Val Kilmer's
That-
like, oh.
Yeah,
But
that
she's
part,
still-
that part, but she's still like.
But she's
has
still
it,
a
yeah.
badass.
Eowyn.
Oh, Eowyn.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
That was a great scene right at the end.
Oh, yeah,
she had
I
the
forgot
power
that.
to do it.
I am no
Eowyn.
man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she's out there in the heat of battle with
Yeah.
them.
Yes, and she's like, I've been training my whole life for this.
I
I
want to
am
do
a
it.
shield
Let me
baby.
do it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, the
there's-
Vikings TV series.
Well, and just in the
Largatha.
history.
Yeah, Largatha.
We were
and,
yeah.
We were discussing that because one of my pet peeves is I was watching this thing on PBS, and it was about in PBS,
Yeah, PBS.
and it looked rather irrelevant. You've heard this many times, but it looked rather new-ish. Like and they were talking about, like, oh, we just found this grave, and it was a woman buried with shields and swords. And I'm like, they have been finding those for
Ever.
decades.
Right, yeah.
Why is this still a surprise?
Oh,
And I
because
just
they
went on
kept-
this rant. I went on
Yeah.
this Facebook rant. I'm like, listen.
But it might not be a woman. We can't quite tell.
they
I
were
forget
pretty-
somebody
no.
can. Yeah.
And so then I went on this rant. So I was a thrower in high school and college, right? And naturally strong. Obviously I'm not stronger than a lot of men and even women, but I'm like, how do you think this is? I mean, it's genetic.
Yeah.
How do you think I got these genes? They just magically appeared somewhere. I guess it could have
Yeah.
adaptive ability, but it came from somewhere. So is
Right,
it
right,
really that impossible to think that yes, there were strong women in the past? And if you look
Right.
at ancient, and I have a Celtic studies minor, you look at ancient certain cultures, their women were warriors. I mean, Boudica.
Yes.
People are familiar
Yes.
with Boudica
She-
existed.
She actually, she was a queen, but she was
she
also
was a
yes.
real person that
Real person.
went out on a rampage for good reason. But it just baffles the mind that it's and like if you talk to Brittany St. Nicky at all, I mean she's always getting just people commenting on how you can't really fight with a sword. It's like, dude, there's video footage of her
Yeah, she
Yeah.
literally runs a sword school. I mean,
And
and she's this tiny little
she's
thing.
tiny, too,
She's
so
super
it's
tiny,
like,
but she will
if she
decimate
can do
you.
it, if she can throw around a long sword, and
Oh,
they're
yeah.
only like 3 and a half, 3 pounds. Really, a well-made long sword's better.
Yeah, we were
Yes.
talking about that
We
yesterday.
were just talking about yesterday.
Yes.
Swords are not as heavy as people think they are, and
Right.
they're totally. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I don't
just,
know where that-
it
Right.
baffles
Well, there's
the
obviously
mind.
different types of swords. Like,
There are.
if you are Liam Neeson, Robert Roy
honestly,
McGregor, you do have that giant
it's-
claymore, but it's like you can still
7
kill someone.
pounds.
But those are
About
more
7
ceremonial,
pounds.
and a lot of
Exactly.
the ornamental swords
Real-
are
yeah.
meant to
Yes.
look and be heavy.
Fighting swords
Fighting swords
Fighting
are meant
swords
to fight.
built
Because they need to be fast and they need
efficient.
to be
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you're a giant Viking. you don't want to be swinging around 30 pounds of steel all day.
Not
Right,
at all.
not
You're
in the
going to
middle
be
of battle.
yeah, you're going to be
No.
exhausted
Not when
in 2
you're
minutes.
wearing 50 pounds of
Yeah,
armor
and
on
possibly
top.
carrying a shield as
Yeah,
well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
are
Heavy shield.
Yeah,
Of course.
Your swords are not. They're not as heavy as and again I tell people I didn't know I obviously believe this trope like before I started taking Uno classes and doing that. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm educated.
I can do this.
Yeah, and then
they're
the
not that
Asian,
heavy.
the Asian movie I was talking about, he had one huge Japanese ceremonial swords that was almost as tall as she was, and she's pretending to be her husband.
Yeah, you were telling
as
me
their
that.
as their
I can't
home is
lift the
being
sword, yeah.
raided, and but it's
That
a
drives
huge
me
ceremonial
crazy.
sword.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. That is literally as tall as she is, and she can't pick it up. She doesn't realize that till she's standing in front of the enemy at the door. But
Yeah.
but she was
Can't lift
smarter
it.
than the sword. She had set up
Here she goes.
other
Yeah.
traps.
She's
Yeah.
walking through the kitchen carrying like a bucket of water, but she can't pick up the sword.
She gave it, yeah, exactly. It's like how
I'm
many
carrying like my twin babies.
Yeah, it's like the
Then
babies
you
with the
yeah,
food on the
Stop in
head.
the
Yeah.
kitchen,
Yeah.
grab the knives and move on.
Yeah, exactly.
Improvise.
Yeah, but it's just anytime you read it in a book where someone describes like the sword as being a large sword, but like, oh, he's carrying a sword, I don't think I could possibly lift him.
You're obviously not fighting with that.
Yeah,
If
like
you
Human
are,
has
yeah.
ruined me. Like before, I wouldn't even. I just read past it, whatever. But now it's like, I can't read this. It's horrible.
Yeah.
But just that whole,
But again, like we talked about before, in the last 10 or so years, fiction representation has been
Yes.
better.
Yeah.
Television representation,
It's
video,
getting better.
It's getting better.
It's getting
We're-
better.
Progress. It's going to take time, but it is getting better.
Yes.
Right. And obviously
Yes.
part of that is just getting more female writers in the room.
Yes.
Getting more
Yeah.
diverse voices in the room, either in books or in the in screenplays
Anything.
or whatever.
You know what's a good resource for diversity in that sort of webtoon? I don't know if you guys if you ever read webtoon. So it's like online digital like comics, and there's so much diversity
Yes.
in that.
Okay.
Because I follow quite a
Yes,
few.
Webtoon is a great
And
resource.
they
Lots of cool
they
stories.
are very inclusive. Lots of like just
It's the
across-
independent voice.
Yeah, it
across
is,
the- yeah,
it
it
is.
is.
When you've
across
got
the border,
corporate
across the
Hollywood,
Yeah.
big, corporations, they go with what they think is going to sell.
Yes.
They don't go with what is actually right.
Right.
So they're going to
Yes.
continue towards the marketing side of it. And I see because it's putting money in their pockets, it's
Yeah,
paying their
absolutely.
shareholders, all that stuff. But everyone else that is creating because we love the craft
Yes.
and
we
we
have
love
the
the
story to tell.
that's where you're going to get a lot of those true
and you
voices.
find a way to get that with
Yeah.
self-publishing. We talk a lot about video games, and it's like all these women who are just like, I'm done with Activision Blizzard is being sued right now by the state of California for, sexism, discrimination, all of that. And you have like all these female game developers who are like, we're just going to start our own company. We're going to write our own books. We're going to publish it ourselves.
Yeah.
We're going to,
Well, and then I read somewhere J.K. Rowling did not use her actual name
Nope.
because she's a woman.
Yep.
And
That's
they
why she
would
went
have
by
been, she would have
JK.
been turned
Yep.
away just for that fact. Like we don't want women writing fantasy.
That actually works both sides of the
Yeah,
fence
it
when it
does,
comes to different genres because I know men that write erotica that cannot
Uh-huh,
publish a
that
big
do not want
name
to.
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
not going to work
Yes.
out well for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Like, they're not gonna look
it
upon
does.
as
A lot of people
favorably.
do go straight
Yeah.
to the initials to hide their gender,
Hide their gender.
Yeah.
so that it
So
doesn't
that
affect their ability
doesn't
to get
affect-
books out.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, anything else?
No, I think
This
that
has
wraps it
been
up.
amazing.
This has been fun.
This
Thank
has been
you.
so much
Thank
fun,
you
ladies.
so much.
When can we expect the movie out? So,
Yeah, exactly. I'll be calling my manager tomorrow and just letting her know. But before we wrap out, where can people find you? How can they follow your work? How can they get your books? Where can they find more? Let's start with you, Katie.
I am super easy to find. Look me up by name, Katie Salidas. My website is katiesalidas.com. That is the portal to everywhere. All of my social media, all of my YouTube channels, all that stuff. You can find me right there, katiesalidas.com.
Awesome.
All right, same thing for me, Jenna Elizabeth Johnson. My if you did the it's author J.E. Johnson. So if you type in author J.E. Johnson on most social media, you should be able to find me. But if you just go to myfullname.com, you can find me. Just use Jenna Elizabeth Johnson, Amazon, anywhere like that, and you should be able to find me. And I got my picture up there, so
You'll know.
you should be able to recognize me.
Yes. And Terry.
And I have a very common name, so it's Terry L. Smith,
Okay.
artist and author.
Terry L.
.com.
Smith, artist and author. Got it. Got it. Well, thank you guys again. Oh my gosh,
Thank
this
you
is
so much.
amazing.
This is great. This has been wonderful.
Next year, we'll start planning what to do next year.
Dude, yeah, I think we bring this back to
Well, act out some of our
Comic-Con. I think we bring this back to
scenes for
Comic-Con
phase
every
two.
year.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have many more movies that we have issues with that we need to rewrite. So yes.
Yeah, we're never lack for that. Well, thank you guys
Yeah.
for joining us. Thank you all out there for joining us. We're so happy to have you tune into us. If you want to follow more of the rollout, please hit that subscribe button, press that like button, ring that bell so you get notified every time that we upload. We upload a new video every Friday at 12 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And thanks for joining this one. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Bye.